Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing absolutely well. Everyone's talking about Barbault's Basket, and I woke up today and I felt this pull to do a tarot reading for myself. I often do it, but today the pull had a different kind of intensity. It was as if something inside me felt called to do a tarot reading for myself the first thing I woke up. So here I am. I thought I'll share with you. Maybe it might end up helping someone. For starters, I am an Aries rising, Cancer moon, and an Aquarius sun. So, anybody with these placements, I suggest you stick with me to the end. And if it also connects with you, then yay! Before I dive into my tarot reading, I mean the cards I drew for myself, please excuse the noise. I don't have an ideal space, a dedicated space to really shoot, but I really want to. So yeah, before I dive into my tarot reading, I wanted to take this moment to educate about what Barbault Basket is all about. For those who don't know, Barbault's Basket is a rare astrological pattern involving the outer planets Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, creating a basket like formation in the sky. I am gonna put a small animation. I hope it helps in understanding this in a better way. It is named after the late French astrologer André Barbault. This pattern is often interpreted by astrologers as representing periods of deep transformation, collective shifts, and a major inner restructuring. His prominent predictions, if I may include, then it's Soviet Union dissolution in 1991 and a crisis in 2020 that would, he said, would affect the humanity, and we can connect it to COVID-19 pandemic. We all know the havoc it wreaked on a collective level. Moving on, the absolute peak of Barbault's Basket occurs between July 19th and July 21st, 2026. During this exact window, the four outer planets, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, all perfectly converge at 4 degrees of their respective signs, but they're spread across four different, entirely different fire and air signs. So there's Jupiter in Leo, Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius at 4 degrees. Now, how is this going to impact? If I have to quote it, for some, it could be a career pivot. For others, it could be a marriage, a massive financial breakthrough, maybe, or simply a transformation, personal growth. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that there's no way two people are going to experience it in the same manner, and how it impacts depends on your placements within your natal birth chart. I am, well, quite excited to witness this because I'm wondering how this is going to play out, especially because we are not seeing any earth placement at play here. So with fire and air energy, I believe it is more of an emotional and thoughts kind of transformation. That being said, if you see it from an energetic point of view, I'd say energies are all about what you make of. This activation doesn't mean your free will is not there. It is very much there. How you see things and how you let them affect you, all of that is at play as well. So the outcome is very much dependent on how adaptable you are, how much of a change you're willing to accept, and the work it requires on your part. I would demonstrate with my chart here as to what I see, or what what I can expect, since I can, study it. With Aries on my ascendant, first house, obviously, and Aquarius, 10th house. I have my 10th house, yes, it's an Aquarius, and Leo influencing my fifth house. Pluto's transit has been especially significant to mine, and to excuse me, to give you an overview, the first house, it represents identity, how one approaches life, and the version of ourselves we are continually becoming. With Aries rising, I have always uh, felt a strong drive to be independent, take initiative, and carve my own path. I literally march to my own drum. More recently, I have noticed my identity itself is shifting. I'm becoming less, the independence factor is still there, but I'm less interested in proving myself to others and more interested in living authentically. 10th house is the house of career, public life, reputation, purpose, and legacy, since my career placements are concentrated there, as well as Capricorn. It is no surprise that career has been one of the biggest themes of my life. However, Pluto's transit feels like it's transforming not just what I do, but why I do it. And the traditional markers of success, status, prestige, and climbing the corporate ladder, they don't hold the same appeal they once did, or I'd say the definition has changed. Instead, I find myself wanting to build something more meaningful, innovative, and something that is entirely my own. Then this fifth house in Leo, which speaks to creativity. It's all about self expression, passion projects, joy, and creating from the heart. I cannot help but notice that this desire to move away from a conventional 9 to 5 and toward building something creatively fulfilling feels deeply connected to this part of my chart. It is as though I'm being encouraged to express myself more authentically rather than simply following a prescribed, you know, a prescribed path, or as if I am now, I'd say I've never played by the book, but what little I might have, it's asking me to even cast that away. And speaking of self expression, passion projects, creating from the heart, well, then hello, YouTube. I guess me starting YouTube and this activation and whatever is happening within the sky, I can, relate, and it is very much making sense to me. Also, one of the biggest shifts I have noticed is in how I think about earning money. For years, I operated from survival mode and stayed within the traditional employment model because I felt I had no other choice. Lately, however, I found myself wanting to create something of my own, like I said, and something that gives me both a sense of purpose and financial freedom. Since Pluto is associated with deep transformation and long term evolution, I am very curious about how this transit will continue to uphold in my own life. I am again, like I said, less interested in conventional success than I used to be. What I am seeking is meaningful work, which I believe I'm finally doing, and to derive financial independence through it and the freedom to build a life that's aligned with who I really am. So I guess I wish everybody a good luck and a good fortune with this astrological activation we call Barbault's Basket. I hope love and light comes your way. Amen. And mm, next up, also before we move on, I would like to really chat about it because I think talking helps. I am also beginning to realize how many of my life decisions were made under the pressure of my mother. All that I spoke about prestige, climbing the corporate ladder, and all that. I think it was simply to please her. Realization has been incredibly painful because it's made me see how inauthentic I have been for so long. For example, I stuck to 9 to 5 because I know if I had given it up, my mother would have made it really difficult for me in terms of money matters. Um, I believe it wasn't survival mode, I guess. It was more like um, anyway, the hardest part is realizing that despite everything I did, nothing ever truly made her happy. No achievement was enough, no milestone brought a lasting approval. So I've reached a point where I feel I might as well just stop chasing something that was never mine to earn. Instead, I want to start living authentically for myself, not out of fear, guilt, or the need for validation, especially from her. I think till now it was my child working, inner child, and this is coming after lots of tears, by the way, that I am now slowly trying to break free. I'm slowly trying to cut these cords. This realization hasn't been liberating in the way people often describe it. It's come with a tremendous amount of grief because it feels I'm still mourning the version of myself that spent years trying to earn love through achievement. I'm praying that God gives me the strength to let go of what no longer serves me, to heal from these mother and familial wounds in general, and to have the courage to build a life that's true to who I really am. I think I am truly beginning to move on, and I just hope that I get to create the life I dream of. And I have been praying for alignment. I've been praying to I've been praying to God to help me become the best version of myself so that I attract the right people, the right opportunities, and of course the life I dream of. So fingers crossed. I think now it is only right to move on the tarot portion. So just a second. All right, I am back and I have my spread here. I kept it so that I can share. I did not plan, obviously, it wasn't planned that I will be sharing my morning draw, but it was very spontaneous. This whole video was very spontaneous. So I guess it's what what universe wanted me to do. So first things first, what did I actually ask before pulling these cards? Well, the question in my mind was, during this Barbault basket activation, what am I actually being asked to release? And honestly, the spread blew my mind. I've been, I've already talked about my struggle with wounds connected to home, family, and my sense of safety. I have tried to move forward many times, but there are moments where I feel like I fall back into the same patterns. Obviously, it's human to do so, but sometimes if you keep moving in this vicious loop, it becomes detrimental to your mental health as well as your physical health, I'd say. And of course, it hinders the progress. So, yeah, coming back to the spread, I got carried away. Okay, so the bottom of the spread often represents the underlying theme or the shadow influencing the entire reading. And I got Three of Swords. Yeah, I got Three of Swords, and it couldn't be clearer. So this was the bottom, and I drew uh, Seven of Swords, then I got Judgment, and then I got Chariot. Chariot. I always call it Chariot. I don't know why. To me, it's very clearly asking me uh, that I must try and move on from the lingering heartbreak and stop fighting unyielding battles. It's very clearly asking me to release the grief that I've been carrying for so long. Like I mentioned above, you guys probably uh, already have the context by now. It's been there, it's been sitting underneath everything. This feels like the root of my current situation. I am asking if it's asking me to stop holding on to the pain, the betrayal sort of I felt, the abandonment I experienced. I think that abandonment really got me. And yeah, all those emotional wounds that I've been carrying from one chapter of life into the next. I think I got called out to let go of an older version of myself, the version that's still attached to those happenings, those stories. Uh, Maybe not forget what happened, because I believe it's unrealistic. One can never forget the hard times, especially if it comes from your own family and mother, to be precise. But at least forgave, if not for anyone else, then for my own peace of mind. I feel like I've been on this battlefield for years now, constantly defending myself, constantly trying to prove myself. Uh, and at some point, well, by 2024, it just became exhausting. I burnt out completely. And I don't think, at the same time, I don't think this card is asking me to stop trying. I think it's asking me to stop fighting battles that are already over, that are unyielding. Also, this compulsive need to control everything. I've been trying very hard to make things move, to fix things, to push life forward according to my timeline. Um, that that's been under pressure of my mother and her expectations, that too without any support. I mean, I was expected to do everything without any sort of cushion or support, be it emotional or monetary. I had nothing. So maybe I think that's not what's needed right now. I really don't need to push my life forward in this reckless manner. And I think before I start trying to fix things, I need to really sit with my hurt. Not in the sense of holding onto it forever, but I don't think I've really allowed myself to process it either. Maybe I need to sit with my grief. I need to cry the tears that I've been suppressing. Maybe I need to let myself mourn everything that didn't work out the way I had imagined. Or maybe I'm mourning the lack of support that I could have gotten. Because if I don't acknowledge it right now, I don't think I can truly release it either. And I think this is where Chariot starts making sense to me, that I don't need or have to hurry up and move. It's more like, okay, feel what you need to feel, release what you need to release, and then when you're ready, get back in the driver's seat. So, yep, I think it really brought perspective to everything that I've been going through lately for the past couple years. And this is what I always tell people about tarot. Tarot isn't powerful because it's this magic divination tool. I mean, it's that predicts every detail of your future, because it doesn't. The moment we treat it like a guaranteed answer machine, we miss the deeper purpose. We defeat the purpose, to be precise. Tarot is like a guiding force, a guiding wand. It helps you pause, it helps you reflect, it helps you see what your own intuition may already be trying to tell you. Sometimes the cards don't tell you something you didn't know. Sometimes they simply uh, illuminate what your soul has been trying to process. And that's what I got today, I believe. And yeah, I guess I will take my leave now, and I hope this video helped you in some way. If it did, please hype the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Toodles.